$100. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Some get clever.
That's the story. I'm sticking to it.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Others get hostile.
I'm going to tell you what happened.
Judge Judy gets the last word.
They don't keep me here because I'm gorgeous. They keep me here because I'm smart.
It's okay. I still say I didn't hit the kid.
Yes, you can't always give the stranger benefit of the doubt.
I asked him for every information. He provided me zero information.
He was mid-turn, his tire was sticking out from the side of his car, and that's what grazed the back of my leg.
Zero pictures. You can't have all these scratches on someone's.
It wasn't a bumper, it was his tire.
And not see it as soon as it happens. But it's all good.
Just do the right thing. Everything's fine.
You're watching Fox 26 KNPN.
This evening on News Press Now, St. Joseph police are investigating several shootings here in the city. We talked with Captain Jeff Wilson about the cases. And the United States is playing defense against the Taliban after an attack on an Afghan security checkpoint. We have updates from the region as many hope for peace. And later, Habitat for Humanity and Lowe's partnered up to honor and spotlight women in the community. We get a look at today's build.
Temps will be mild once again for tomorrow, but this time the winds will be cranking up. Your news starts right now.
Live from downtown St. Joseph, you're watching News Press Now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on News Press Now. I'm Charles Christian. The St. Joseph Police Department is investigating a string of shooting incidents involving local homes. Our Matt Hoffman has been following those cases and has an update after speaking with police today.
In just the past month, 3 structures in St. Joseph have been struck by gunfire. One on Shady Avenue, another at the corner of 24th and Massany, and one more on South 22nd Street. St. Joseph Police Captain Jeff Wilson says no injuries have been reported and police are still investigating each incident.
In all these investigations, we're not receiving too much cooperation from the victims in these cases.
Wilson also says each of the areas from the February incidents are well known to law enforcement.
There's information that leads the detectives to believe that there's a good chance that the victims in these cases may not be unfamiliar with possible suspects. Particularly, definitely one of these cases, there's other illegal behavior present during the time of the shooting.
Wilson says detectives are still investigating the cases, and due to the lack of cooperation from the alleged victims, the police department is asking for tips from the general public. Matt Hoffman, News Press Now.
And the St. Joseph Fire Department fought a fire shortly after 3 a.m. at 14th and Olive Streets. Take a look at this video here. Several fire trucks and EMS units were on the scene. Firefighters were bringing water hoses inside the house, but no flames were visible. Firefighters say an electrical issue inside the home caused the fire. You can see a utility pole here appears to have fallen over outside the home, and workers from Evergy were also there. No one was at home at the time of the fire, and a fire inspector estimated the damage to be around $30,000. And U.S. military forces launched their first airstrike against the Taliban since last week's peace deal. Benjamin Hall has more from London.
The Afghanistan peace deal seems to have hit a snag. The U.S. military launching an airstrike against Taliban forces in Afghanistan. A U.S. military spokesman says it was a defensive strike against Taliban fighters who attacked an Afghan security checkpoint. He tweeted in part, quote, "We call on the Taliban to stop needless attacks and uphold their commitments." The recent peace deal contains a path for American forces to withdraw from Afghanistan, but that may not happen if the Taliban and Afghan leaders can't work towards an end to the violence.
They're looking to get this ended, and we're looking to get it ended. I think we all have a very common interest. We've been there for 20 years.
Some in Congress fear things could get worse if troops withdraw.
I think the likeliest outcome at the end of the day is once the U.S. leaves, within a short period of time, the Taliban will retake the country.
Wednesday's Sunday's strike comes amid deadly violence in Afghanistan. Afghanistan's interior minister says several troops and civilians were killed in attacks across the country. Leaders there attribute that violence to the Taliban.
I hope an agreement will be signed between the Afghan government and the Taliban as well, because we are all tired of the war in Afghanistan.
Leaders from the Afghan government and the Taliban are scheduled to meet on March 10th for more peace negotiations, but it's unclear now if that meeting will go ahead. In London, Benjamin Hall, Fox News.
Matt, these temperatures sure have been nice, but I hear some wind is on the way.
Oh, most definitely. Right now it's 60 degrees. It's not too windy. The wind is out of the southwest, around 9 miles per hour. The temperatures are in the in Kansas City, about 58 in Trimble, 59 in Maryville, 61 in Atchison. Tomorrow is going to be just a little bit through. And that's why on our wind map, you can see the wind speeds are a bit higher off to our northwest. Once that cold front gets a little closer to us, of course, that wind is really going to pick up. Through the overnight, the temperatures will come down to the low 40s, upper 30s. The wind eventually changing direction to out of the northwest. And those gusts are going to be particularly strong tomorrow afternoon. In fact, the fire danger is going to come up a little bit. Thankfully, this weekend, not quite as windy, but it is going to be a little bit warmer. And I'll have those numbers when I come back, Charles.
Thanks, Matt. Washington State is now confirming at least 10 deaths from the coronavirus, and California is announcing its first death from the virus as well. This as Congress and the White House are sharpening their responses to the outbreak. Doug McKelway has more from Washington.
The deadly coronavirus outbreak is still spreading. It's now infected more than 90,000 people in dozens of countries. Here in the U.S., there are more than 100 confirmed cases, including a New York State man whose wife, children, and neighbor also tested positive, indicating the virus is spreading through community contact. President Trump says the government's protocols are working, but he's considering additional measures, including more travel restrictions until the outbreak is contained.
As certain areas get to be more of a problem, we may close them up, as we have done with numerous areas. At this moment, we think we have it very much in hand.
So far, cases in the U.S. remain largely confined to the elderly and those with underlying health conditions. NIH Director Anthony Fauci telling lawmakers there still isn't enough data on the new virus to fully gauge the threat to the public, but it does appear to be more deadly than most flu strains.
The mortality for seasonal flu is 0.1%. So even if it goes down to 1%, it's still 10 times more fatal.
Congress is preparing an emergency funding package, but it's unclear if it will address issues like access to testing for those without insurance. But the Trump administration claims it won't be an issue, and they're putting public health before politics.
If your doctor or public health official think you ought to get tested, you're going to be able to be tested. For most of us, the risk of getting the novel coronavirus is low.
Public health officials say they're aiming to start testing a coronavirus vaccine in about a month. In Washington, Doug McKelway, Fox News.
This afternoon, the House passed an $8.3 billion funding bill to combat the coronavirus. It had bipartisan approval with a final vote of 415 to 2. The money will be used for treatment, vaccine development, and support for state and local health agencies. The package heads to the Senate tomorrow. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley says the video sharing app TikTok poses a risk to the security of Americans. The site has ties to the Chinese Communist government, and the popular social networking app can take personal information and turn it into potentially dangerous databases, the senator says. Hawley announced at a Capitol Hill hearing today a bill to remove TikTok from all federal government devices.
TikTok on our phone, it tracks what we do on our phones, the messages we send, our keystrokes, our search history. It's unbelievable. All of that is getting shared potentially with the Chinese Communist Party. And this, unfortunately, is not just one company. It's company after company that either does business in China or has partnerships with China. So we've got to put safeguards in place that protect the American people, that protect our security from the Chinese government.
Officials from TikTok declined an invitation to take part in the hearing. The Missouri Nurses Association has endorsed a proposal to put Medicaid expansion on the ballot. Our Clayton Anderson talked to local officials for more on the potential expansion.
With the Missouri Nurses Association endorsing Medicaid expansion in Missouri, the expansion is one step closer to being put on the ballot. Linda Judah, executive director of the Social Welfare Board in St. Joseph, says that Medicaid expansion would benefit Buchanan County.
There are so many uninsured folks living in Buchanan County, and so if Medicaid were to expand, that would positively impact close to 10,000 Buchanan County residents. And so what that means is that they would finally have access to health care that would tend to the preventative issues.
With the coronavirus being a concern, State Representative Jim Neely, who is also a doctor at Cameron Regional Medical Center, is concerned for rural hospitals with cutbacks in Medicaid.
Biggest concern as a physician is with the cutbacks in Medicaid that's going on. How are the hospitals going to operate with reduced funding from the population that's going to show up in the emergency room and the clinics? And so I know some hospitals right now haven't received their cost report dollars. Cameron Hospital, for one, I think they're $2 million short from the state of Missouri.
Judah says that Medicaid expansion would help benefit the Social Welfare Board and allow them to pursue future projects.
Expansion of Medicaid would be a win-win for everybody living in poverty, as it would provide them the ability to access affordable health care. And health care is a right.
For more continued coverage on Medicaid expansion in Missouri, go to newspressnow.com. Clayton Anderson, News Press Now.
An emergency project to repair an outfall pipe that releases stormwater and sewage to the river during overflow events has seen some progress since the City Council approved funds last month. Deep cracks caused by flood damage were discovered in the Charles Street outfall pipe during an inspection earlier this year. A $1.2 million emergency contract was approved to prevent a possible collapse. The cracks have been filled with grout, and now SAK construction workers are working to line the pipes in order to prevent future damage.
We got the equipment mobilized to begin the lining, so going through multiple passes to do that. Probably the next phase is going to be about 5 weeks long, and then we'll be done.
Rising river levels next month could stop work, but Clements says getting the cracks sealed was the most important job, and the lining can be finished when water levels drop if needed. To celebrate the women in the area, St. Joseph Habitat for Humanity and Lowe's teamed up to help empower women by building homes. Our Bailey Ketchum talked with volunteers on the importance of safe housing in the community.
St. Joseph Habitat for Humanity and Lowe's have partnered to unite women to spotlight the need for safe and affordable housing in the community during International Women's Build Week, leading up to International Women's Day. Dozens of volunteers and women are preparing the house behind me for a new homeowner this summer.
The most important part of this week is watching all the women that come together who are painting and who are, lifting a hammer and really uniting to do something that otherwise people don't really think of women of doing.
The Lowe's partnership with Habitat began in 2003, and they've committed more than $70 million to the nonprofit. Lowe's representative Rachel Solon loves empowering women and having them come into the stores.
Seeing the customers that have the homes that they are getting through Habitat come into the Lowe's stores, asking questions about their products that are in their homes and how to maintain them.
Tabitha Reeser is not only a volunteer, but she's receiving the home next door and appreciates all the women helping her learn about building and giving her a chance to be a homeowner.
That means a lot. I have 2 children, and without this organization or the volunteers, I couldn't do this on my own.
1 in 8 households in Missouri spend half or more income on housing, taking away from child and health care needs, and Manly's thankful they can help with that.
The majority of our homeowners are women-led families, and so part of Habitat for Humanity is training them and teaching them about how to maintain their home once they have home ownership.
Habitat wants women across the area to continue bringing attention to this important issue year-round. Bailey Ketchum, News Press Now.
And on a national level today, the First Lady, along with the Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, honored women who represent the true meaning of bravery. The 2020 Secretary of State's International Women of Courage Awards was held at the State Department. Awards were given to 12 women from around the world who exemplify exceptional courage and leadership in advocating for human rights.
Attorneys protecting basic rights in difficult places, journalists exposing corruption,
activists ending the horror of female genital mutilation, fighters for religious freedom, and peacemakers in some of the most dangerous parts of the world. The women up here are all different, no two the same, but they share a deep belief in the fundamental dignity of every human being.
We are here to honor a quality that all of the women on stage possess, and that is courage.
The 14th anniversary of the International Women of Courage Awards and the 4th time Melania Trump has participated in the event. It comes ahead of International Women's Day, which is celebrated this Sunday, March 8th. Cleanup is underway in Tennessee after yesterday's devastating and deadly tornado. Still ahead, we hear from those who are trying to pick up the pieces.
You might want to bring in the lawn decorations tonight. Tomorrow is going to be very windy, and then we'll have a warm weekend to look ahead to. You're watching News Press Now.
She's a janitor's daughter who has become one of the country's fiercest advocates for the middle class. She came up with an idea for a new independent agency standing up for consumers and middle class families. She's done it while facing some very tough opposition. Fortunately, she's very tough. Elizabeth understands what I strongly believe, that a strong, growing economy begins with a strong and thriving middle class.
I'm Elizabeth Warren, and I approve this message.
Everybody likes a nice tax refund or an instant cash rebate. So here at the Colony House, we're giving our customers instant cash back. You can buy quality furniture or bedding now marked with sale prices, and for a limited time, we'll even give you bigger savings with an instant 10% cash rebate. That's another 10% back in your pocket instantly. Plus, get additional factory direct savings on quality flex steel furniture, 10% off sale prices instantly here in the store, plus an additional savings on flex steel, and get 2 years of free financing. The tax rebate sales event here at the Colony House in St. Joseph.
News Press Now, celebrating 175 years. Your stories are our story.
Billionaire Michael Bloomberg drops out of the 2020 Democratic presidential race following Super Tuesday. The former New York City mayor made the announcement following a disappointing showing where he only won American Samoa. Bloomberg spent more than $500 million on advertisements for his campaign. He'll now endorse former Vice President and current frontrunner Joe Biden. Bloomberg will remain active on the campaign trail through Election Day and says he will continue to do whatever it takes to defeat President Donald Trump in November. Washington state lawmakers have passed a bill that would lessen the punishment for knowingly transmitting HIV. As of now, people who intentionally spread the disease face felony charges and could spend life in prison. The new bill would make it a misdemeanor with a jail sentence of up to 90 days. Governor Jay Inslee is expected to sign the bill. Those in favor say the previous felony charges did nothing to stop the spread of the virus. The opposition says this gives victims no voice. Nashville and some surrounding areas are still reeling in the wake of Tuesday's deadly tornadoes. 24 people were killed and dozens more injured when a fast-moving and destructive storm, many storms, blew through Middle Tennessee. 18 of those deaths, including 5 preteens, were in Putnam County. And that's where we find Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan.
Communities just like this one in Putnam County, Tennessee, are reeling after Tuesday's deadly tornadoes. But luckily, with the help of family and volunteers, they're already starting the cleanup.
We need to go help because these are our neighbors, our friends, our family.
One tornado ravaged a 2-mile path through Putnam County, Tennessee, roughly 80 miles east of Nashville. Homes hammered, schools shredded, 100 structures in total reduced to rubble.
There were some family friends that they found them laying in the bed together with the house collapsed on top of them.
Friends and neighbors helping those in the hardest hit areas. FEMA and the Red Cross are also on the ground, lending a hand after the second deadliest tornado in Tennessee history.
What a sign of strength for our community. Literally, rooms are filling up with supplies, and I am so grateful.
As the desperate search for those unaccounted for continues, there are incredible stories of survival. Billy Dyer was alerted just in time to run to the basement with his wife.
Everything started exploding. It's crazy. I mean, everything was just blowing up.
Their home ripped open by the powerful storm. Ronald Baldwin and Harry Nahay were trapped in their bedroom when the roof came crashing down on them.
We couldn't get out, and so I just kept kicking and kicking.
until we finally made a hole. And I was able to get out, and then I helped Harry get out.
Many are crediting those loud cell phone emergency alerts for saving their lives. In Putnam County, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
All right, low temps tonight into tomorrow morning will come down to the upper 30s and lower 40s, about 38 degrees in St. Joe. Here's what's happening for tomorrow. We do have an elevated fire danger risk because we'll have high winds coupled with very low humidity. So be extra careful. Do not flick those cigarette butts outside the car. And if you're hauling anything on a trailer, make sure that the chains are raised up and that they're not hitting the pavement or the asphalt, because that can trigger some sparks and that can lead to a pretty dangerous situation too. We'll have a dry stretch of weather for the next several days. Going into early next week will be our next chance of rain. In terms of fire alerts, we are under a fire weather watch, but where we have a fire weather warning is up to our northwest in Richardson County, including Falls City. That goes from noon to 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. In your day planner tomorrow, we have a high of 58 degrees. The wind will be out of the northwest at 15 to 25 miles per hour, strongest around 3 o'clock. And of course, the gusts will be a bit stronger yet. The wind gusts could get up to around 40 miles per hour in spots around 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But thankfully, during the next couple hours after that, the wind will really start to die down. So this is not going to be an all-day thing. In your travel forecast tomorrow, we have 54 in Omaha, mostly sunny sky, and more sunshine around Kansas City. About 60 degrees, 60 in Columbia, 60 in Topeka. And farther south, low 60s, about 63 in Joplin, 61 in Springfield. On Friday, the temperatures may come down just a little bit. Probably not going to notice a big difference here. Highs around 56 degrees. We have 55 in Kansas City. On the Storm Tracker Futurecast, clear for tonight despite a cold front coming through, and we'll go clear for Friday and most of Saturday as well. In fact, the next chance of rain is more than likely going to hold off until Monday of next week. In your 7-day forecast, by Saturday, with a warm front coming through, highs will make it up to the upper 60s. Also worth noting, Friday morning here, the temperatures are down to the upper 20s. Kind of a chilly start there, but we make up for it. Sunday, we have a high of 68 degrees. Also worth noting, Saturday night, Sunday morning, we spring forward. We lose that hour, so make sure you plan for that. Monday, we have the rain showers coming through during the morning. Highs much cooler, around 52 degrees, and the temperatures will continue to trail off going into the middle of next week with 49 on Tuesday and 40 on Wednesday, Charles.
After being closed for 3 weeks, Geno's is ready for business again. And are you a super fan of March Madness? Coming up, we'll tell you about the challenge from Buffalo Wild Wings. You're watching News Press Now.
Coleman Insurance Services is a local insurance agency with a friendly staff that is ready to help you find just the right insurance policy to suit your individual needs. We realize that not every insurance company is the right fit for every customer. This is why we represent several different insurance companies, which allows us to customize your unique insurance needs with just the right company. Call Chris, Randy, or Jenny at Coleman Insurance Services today, or just stop by and together we'll find the insurance coverages that are just right for you.
Tonight, it's TV's #1 night.
This is awesome.
They came to follow their dreams.
I'm loving this secret adventure.
But the journey for one of them will end.
The Masked Singer heading home is
an all-new Masked Singer. Then
the challenge, a mega city build.
But what goes up must come down.
No!
Pushing one team to its breaking point. Tonight, an all-new Masked Singer, followed by the all-new hit Lego Masters on Fox.
On the next Big Bang Theory.
Amy writes Little House on the Prairie fan fiction about herself and posts it on the internet.
When Amy's passion is revealed.
It's about a young woman in the 1800s named Amelia.
Oh my God, it's about her and Sheldon.
Her life becomes a real page-turner.
This was no boy in front of her. This was a man.
There was a time when I was alone and had no friends. Starting to miss that.
Next Big Bang.
The St. Joseph News Press. In-depth coverage, entertainment, savings, and more. Subscribe today.
Gino's Pizza and Pub patrons had reason to be happy today. The popular downtown restaurant reopened today after being closed for 3 weeks due to extensive water damage from a leaky dishwasher. The owners say they're happy to be open again.
We're super excited. We've missed everyone. We have a lot of loyal customers that come in and see us all the time, and we're really looking forward to seeing them again.
Gino's Pizza and Pub is located on 809 Francis Street here in St. Joseph. For more information and for hours, call 816-232-4000. And what you post online may no longer stick around forever as Twitter tests out temporary tweets. These tweets, called fleets, disappear after 24 hours. They cannot be retweeted, and users cannot like them or publicly respond to them. The feature is similar to Instagram and Facebook stories. The company hopes these tweets will help alleviate concerns over public and permanent nature of normal tweets. The feature is taking a test run in Brazil starting today. And if you plan on watching the NCAA tournament this month, Buffalo Wild Wings has a special treat for you. The chain is introducing a pop-up bed and breakfast right inside one of its Chicago locations. The space features bunk beds and flat-screen TVs. Fans will also receive a varsity jacket-inspired bathrobe while they cheer on their teams. If this sounds like a dream come true for you, post a video to Twitter or Instagram sharing why you're the ultimate March Madness fan by March 12th. 2 winners and a friend for each will be selected on March 15th. Well, it sounds like winds will be blowing strong tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Matt Brooks has another look at the details here on News Press Now.
There are talkers, and there are doers. We need a president who gets big things done. That's Mike Bloomberg, who built a global company from scratch, ran the largest and most diverse city in America, expanding healthcare for 700,000. As president, he'll make sure everyone has access to affordable care, and he'll protect and strengthen Medicare, and beat the one big thing standing in our way. Mike will get it done.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
On the next Modern Family,
Get down! Shut up! I can't see a TV!
Phil and Claire need a little R&R.
Do you remember when summer meant fireflies and cut-off shorts and ice cream trucks?
Well, 1 out of 3. Can these parents get any quality time together?
I think we have 6 hours totally kid-free on, the 14th.
Sometimes I don't know if I love how much I fear Claire or fear how much I love her.
Next Modern Family.
The Baxter Family Survival Guide.
Dad, you taught us to be self-sufficient.
And yet you're all still here. Rule number 1, expect the unexpected.
If you want money, maybe you should do what other people do.
Get my own reality show. Dad, I'm trying.
Rule number 2, learn to adapt.
You're gonna use a glass, right?
Fine, hand me the big one.
Rule number 3, stand your ground.
You know, when we got married, I thought I was a smart one.
Last man standing.
Here's another check of your forecast in case you missed it. Tonight, we're down to about 38 degrees. It'll be a nice clear sky for us. A little breezy at times, especially as we go into the early morning hours. Eventually, that wind is going to be out of the northwest around 15 miles per hour as we start the day, and that's going to crank up from there. Tomorrow, the highs come down a little bit to around 58 degrees. Gusts near 40 miles per hour at times during the middle of the afternoon. Otherwise, the wind speeds are sustained out of the northwest at about 15 to 25 miles per hour. At your 7-day outlook, the highs Friday come down a little bit, down to 56, and thankfully we get a warm front coming in this weekend. We have 67 for Saturday, 68 degrees on Sunday. Monday will be our next chance of rain. Looks like it'll be coming in during the morning hours. Highs Monday will be in the low 50s, and the temps will continue to tumble going into the middle of the work week. Tuesday, we're down to 49. Wednesday, a high of around 40 degrees, and it looks like we could have some very cold rain showers headed our way, Charles.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you for watching News Press Now on Fox 26 KNPN. We'll see you right back here tonight at 9. Hope you have a great night.
XFL has the sports world buzzing.
It's XFL football, man. We about to take it to higher heights. History's waiting when I arrive.
Just electric. The continues this week as the New York Guardians
Makes the catch!
take on Landry Jones and the Dallas Renegades.
All the way to the house. Touchdown!
Saturday at 5 Eastern on Fox. Download the Fox Sports Super 6 app today and lock in your free XFL picks for a chance to win cash prizes.
At Inside Edition, we go where the news is happening.
That gut took me off my feet there.
Police say they found the children shackled to these beds.
It's easy to see how enticing this cornfield would be to a child.
Boom, boom, boom. All 3 houses are on fire.
We are the only daily TV magazine with a dedicated team of investigative reporters.
You can see right into the room next door.
There's always more to the story. Inside Edition.
Next, ET, a death-defying stunt over an active volcano, all on live TV. We're with Daredevil Nick Wallenda before his next high-wire walk.
It all scares me. I mean, I'm human.
Plus, our Hollywood how-to rides the concrete with legend Tony Hawk.
What could go wrong? Nothing. A lot.
Then, actress Nia Long, guest co-hosts.
You don't want to miss it.
Next, ET.
Get ready for the next priceless moment. The Arnold Palmer Invitational presented by MasterCard. Saturday at 2:30 p.m. on NBC, a part of the Open Qualifying Series.
The champion golfer of the year.
I'm not pregnant. He will kill me when he finds out.
He's wrecking our lives. I need to kill a man.
We go to Canada and get a baby. Cash exchange rate right now.
You want to buy a baby?